Mansell straight on the power. Nigel Mansell crosses the line and becomes Britain's first world champion for 16 years.
I think they could do it. They're coming, and they are there. The Soul brothers have beaten the Avant-Gardistes, and that is a great achievement. Matthew Pinson gets his first Olympic title, Stephen Redgrave his third, and there is history made again. And Gascoigne again, lovely, go, wonderful.
Gunnell leads and goes for it, and she gets it right. Gunnell going for gold, and Gunnell gets the gold.
This to be champion.
I knew it was going to be tough, you know, and I was making it tough. And then somehow I said to myself, well, you just better play the best 4 holes of your life right now.
Leicester's got it in the bag. Rodrigo Triano gets his nose in front. 25 yards to go. It's Rodrigo Triano. Bayern Nick.
There's the scene that tells the story that once again it's Grand Slam Carling and Grand Slam England.
This time they go a bit unsteady. Christie got a good one, also going well as Dennis Mitchell. And it's Dennis Mitchell and Fredericks, and Christie comes storming through. It's Linford Christie. The time, 9.96. And the British captain is the Olympic champion. The greatest prize in sport.
Welcome everyone to our annual celebration of the sporting year, and in this Olympic year, a special welcome to Britain's Olympic gold medalists.
Barcelona, Barcelona.
100 metres champion, Linford Christie. The man who won gold on that amazing machine, cyclist Chris Boardman. Rowers, Matthew Pinsent and Steve Redgrave, Steve's third Olympic gold. And from the same sport, the brothers, Greg and Johnny Searle, and the man who steered them home, Cox Gary Herbert. And, of course, the winner of Britain's first women's track gold medal for 28 years, Sally Gunnell. Representing the 40 gold medalists from the Paralympics this year. They won 10 between them, Tani Gray and Chris Holmes. And at the end of a great year in sport for Spain, their Olympic gold medalists are with us too.
Barcelona.
Good evening to you at home. The memories of a tremendous sporting year are about to unfold. The stars, as you see, are with us. And of course, at the end of the programme, we'll be announcing whose name will be added to this famous old trophy, first collected by Chris Chataway back in 1954. The votes have been counted for Sports Personality of the Year. Your choice has been made.
Our two other awards for Team of the Year and the Overseas Personality will be made during the course of our look back on this sporting year 1992. Olympic year, which began in Albertville, France, with the Olympic Winter Games.
The showpiece event of the Games, the men's downhill, saw Austrian Patrick Ortlieb, the first man down the new and controversial Boulevard run, set a time which wasn't threatened until the French hope, Frank Picard, bronze medalist last time, made his late challenge.
Silver! He's done it again. France go wild.
And relief for Austria and Ortlieb, who kept the gold. Italy's fun-loving hero, Alberto Tomba, double slalom gold in Calgary, was trying to be the first to retain an Olympic alpine title.
It's close. Yes, he's done it.
So history in the giant slalom, but 1.5 seconds down in the slalom, surely too much even for Tomba.
Retains this. It won't be history, it'll be a miracle. Look and listen. He's there by 0.88.
And that time kept him there until the very last man, Norwegian Finn Christian Jager.
It's a brilliant run. Yes! Gold. Jager.
So instead of a second gold, other prizes for Alberto. The women's skiing star was Austria's Petra Kronberger. Gold in combined and slalom, very close to more medals in downhill and Super-G. But the biggest new star on skis, 16-year-old Tony Nieminen, the Finn who literally flew into the record books to help his team to gold and then did it for himself.
Oh, he's gone forever. He's won the gold medal. He knows it.
The youngest ever men's Olympic winter gold medalist. The Soviet Union have dominated ice hockey. Against Canada, the unified team continued the tradition.
In with a shot. Pico scores! The captain has ended all doubt.
Well, the name may have changed. The Red Machine's domination remains. They took over the figure skating as well. Gold for Mishkutinok and Dmitriev in the pairs. Viktor Petrenko in the men's. And for the stylish but controversial Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko in the ice dance. Britain's medal hopes suffered first when an error by brakeman Lenny Paul dropped Mark Tout's two-man bob to 6th place. They had led after the first two runs. So all down to speed skater Wilf O'Reilly, demonstration gold winner at the last Olympics. And after comfortable wins in his heats, Wilf should have been on course in the semi-final to stake his medal claim.
It's Dainio, O'Reilly, McMillan, and McMillan squeezes O'Reilly, and O'Reilly's down! The world champion, the European champion, is out of the race.
And we were out of the medals, and Wilf couldn't believe it. But there's only a short wait for the next chance. Lillehammer, Norway, stages the next snow and ice Olympics. And that's only a year away now.
Of course, as many of you know, Jimmy Hill took part in the luge singles at the Winter Games. Failed to get a medal, talking too much on the way down. Evening, Jim. Now, in rugby union, last year was the best ever for an England team, the Grand Slam and the final of the World Cup. And once again this year, well, in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, England were the dominant force.
They said it would be a pushover again for the reigning Grand Slam champions, but to start with, it was for Scotland and Derek White. Until Dean Richards came on as replacement to sort things out and set things up. A Halliday dash, and it was Rory's first at Murrayfield.
A chance here as Halliday feeds out to Guscott. Rory Underwood is away. Rory Underwood's 33rd try for England.
From near record triumph to crushing victory as England clinically dissected the Irish, and Surgeon Webb garnered a record-equalling haul of 22 points in England's biggest ever win over Ireland. But in Paris, the man who stamped his mark on the game and Martin Bayfield was Gregoire Lescoubet, sent off along with Moscato by courageous Steve Hilditch. Brief passages of brilliance like this try by VR were quickly forgotten. Only the English kept their cool. For France, there was much to lament and little to crow about as French cockerel turned to French cock-up, and England exploited the mayhem.
At odds and 6s and 7s, more the link to Underwood. It's another try for Rory Underwood. That surely puts the final nail in the French coffin.
And 3 weeks later, as England sought their piece of history, Wales had to wait only a minute to know the score.
A dream start for England, a nightmare for Wales.
Whilst Wade duly rose and then fell to his 50th occasion. Records galore, none more deserving than Jonathan Webb's 67 points in one championship season. Carling's men secured heroically a first back-to-back Grand Slam by anyone for 68 years. They were simply a class apart. And on the English club front, so too were Bath, double champions of Courage League and then a breathless extended finale of Pilkington Cup.
20 seconds remain. It's Barnes going to try that drop goal. It's close. The referee raises his arm.
A 7th cup triumph in 9 years, but this season they run into the buffers at Waterloo. In Wales, everything came all white for Swansea, Heineken League champions, whilst Phil Davies led Llanelli to Challenge Cup glory. Scotland's McEwen's League title returned to Melrose in front of their home crowd at the Greenyards. A brief summer intermission, and then the world champion Wallabies were back on winning territory, resuming their all-conquering 2-year roadshow. First up, Ireland. World Cup quarter-final crises a distant memory. A try for Jason Little and the largest ever Australian win. But hiccups there were for a tired troop, as here Llanelli and Munster and Swansea too had their day of days and a rare win over the Wallabies. But when it matters most, Australia reigned supreme, and improving Wales, like the rest of us, could only sit back and applaud Campo and the gang. But the happiest return of the year was reserved for South Africa after 2 decades of isolation. With a warm reception off the field and on it, they came together with President de Klerk to the safe haven of Twickenham. And there we learned that the singing of the national anthem is as much expected as an Underwood scoring a try.
A superb try by the right wing in the left corner.
Whilst for South African captain Nath Botha it was really hail and farewell, the main thing is that South Africa are back. Still, in '92, it was only appropriate that the last word should rest with Carling and the men in mostly white.
Now, here, ladies and gentlemen, is the engine room, as it were, of the England team. Brian Moore, tremendous season, 2 tremendous seasons. Can you keep the momentum going this year?
Well, I hope so. I mean, it's getting more difficult all the time, and we've got the French at home, and they might put 15 players out for the whole game this time, so that will make it more difficult. But I think we've got the opportunities and we've got the skill there, and the boys behind will be firing at the right time.
This man, Campese, says that you're doing OK, but he's not too impressed. He thinks you should be entertaining us all more, even more.
Yes. Well, I mean, what can you say about Campese? I mean, he speaks his mind. He's got the courage of his convictions, and being an Australian, I suppose he's got a few of those. So we...
You've always got, with a lot of respect to you, you've always got a few marks, and it's a tough old game, your business, isn't it? Have you ever fancied the idea of being a sort of fancy Dan, really, play at the back like these fellas?
Not with looks like this, not really, no. And besides the hair gel, with your Carling's hair gel wouldn't quite fit on me, but no, I'm not quick enough.
Brian, you're doing a great job, and the England team, ladies and gentlemen.
The Rugby League year had a great deal of international appeal. The Great Britain tour to Australia will be followed by the two sides meeting again in the World Cup final at Wembley in October. But in the domestic game, one team was to prove unbeatable.
The walk up the Wembley tunnel has become a familiar one for Wigan. This was their 5th consecutive Challenge Cup final. Their opponents, Castleford, looked good in the dressing room, but out on that Wembley pitch you need experience and inspiration. The team had experience. Martin O'Fire provided the inspiration.
Now then, there's Edwards positioned again. The kick, the chase for O'Fire. Just look at this Mundo. He's got it. Yes, he is.
O'Fire, the man of the match, as Wigan won the Challenge Cup for the 5th successive time. And this year they've added the Lancashire Cup, the Championship, the Premiership, and in Sydney, the World Sevens. In O'Fire, they have a media star with a quite astonishing scoring record. 10 tries in one match against Leeds. Although Sean Edwards, the league's leading try scorer, also scored a 10 this year. Wigan provided 14 of the Great Britain squad that toured Australia in the summer, and it seemed in the first test in Sydney that they'd met their match.
Great hands, Meninga. Beautiful play from Wishart. Meninga again, still travelling. Meninga gets it in. Gillespie, he won't have the pace, but he gets it. Jackson, Meninga started it. Meninga will finish it. What a stunner.
But led by Gary Schofield, Great Britain responded with a record 33 points to 10 victory in Melbourne, and Mal Reilly's team headed for the decider in Brisbane. It took a lot to breach the British defence, but Meninga managed it, and the close-fought series went to Australia, which only served to heighten the anticipation for the World Cup final at Wembley in October. Ellery Hanley back for Great Britain. Australia, the opposition again. Goals from Derek Fox had given Britain the lead in a tight forward battle, but 12 minutes from time, Australia won it.
Walters, the good ball to Renouf. Renouf's in at the corner. Oh, it's a try! A try for Australia!
Disappointment for Schofield, but the World Cup had been won by a great side. Former overseas sports personality Mal Meninga had kept Australia at the top of the world of rugby league.
Martin O'Fire, Wembley was a bit of a disappointment, but exactly how good are these Australians?
Well, they're very good. I don't think the gap between, ourselves and Australia is that great. But, when the push came to shove, they did the business.
Another great side, Wigan. How tough is it going to be to keep up the standard that you've set over the last couple of seasons?
Well, I mean, Wigan's been a great team for, a number of years, quite a few years before I got there. And, as long as we just keep doing the right things, hopefully, our success will continue.
And you're up there, top again?
Yeah, the boys are top of the league, it's a lot of hard work. John's been putting us through our paces this season, and we just keep doing the same things.
You've had a great year, your teammates are here with you. Wigan Rugby League.
Now, once upon a time, when policemen were 9 feet tall, there were just 8 world boxing champions, and every schoolboy could name them, from Pascal Perez at flyweight to Rocky Marciano at heavyweight. When I last counted, there were no fewer than 62 fighters claiming world titles under the banner of one boxing authority or another. But one thing remains constant. The richest prize in sport is the heavyweight championship of the world.
Mike Tyson had the world, and usually the world's heavyweights, at his feet, but he'd lost the title before losing his liberty this year. Evander Holyfield began 1992 as champion, but he ended the year as an ex-champion too. Riddick Bowe, originally from the same mean streets of Brooklyn as Tyson, is now the top man. His fight with Holyfield was a classic. Frank, meanwhile, had another of those early nights after Jose Ribalta had merely talked a good fight.
That's a good right hand, and the man's right above me, and he's almost coming out on top of me.
More recently, Pierre Coetzer of South Africa was a sterner test. But once again, you were left with the impression that Frank was now aiming for Harry.
That's a better punch. That hurt him at last. Bruno got through a punch that hurt him, and he's come out almost on top of me.
Lennox Lewis broke a recent unwritten rule of heavyweight boxing. It said, avoid Donovan Razor Ruddock. Lewis went against it and proved just how good he is. Ruddock had twice tested Tyson, but he couldn't handle the former Olympic champion. Lewis looks the real thing. At super middleweight, Britain now has 2 champions. Chris Eubank went to the office no fewer than 5 times this year. Never bothers to open the office door. Easiest win was against John Jarvis of the USA. Nigel Benn won a rival version of the title in Italy by beating Mauro Galvano. The Italian was forced to retire at the start of the 4th. His corner tried to claim a technical draw, but Ben got what he went for. He won again last night, and now we all await Ben Eubank too. Harold Graham, a true world-class middleweight, so close to a world title twice, now lost his British crown to a new young star, Frankie Grant.
2, 3, 4 good punches from Grant, and Graham's in trouble.
Of all our champions, Paul Hodkinson has best claim to be world #1 at featherweight. Opponent Steve Cruz, who once beat Barry McGuigan, had passed his sell-by date, though. A tougher test was provided by Fabrice Benichou in France, but the Hodkinson style and power won the day once more. Back in May, Colin McMillan got his chance to fight for the WBO version of the featherweight title. The way he overcame the stylish Italian champion Maurizio Stecca brought praise from the purists, but losing to Colombian Ruben Palacio means the McMillan-Hodkinson clash is on hold. An up-and-down year for Duke McKenzie. First, the loss of his WBO bantamweight crown to Rafael Devallier. It didn't last 2 minutes. Then the win at super bantamweight over Jesse Benavidez, which gave him his 3rd world title at 3 different weights. Long-term champion Dave McCauley's reign ended this year to Rodolfo Blanco of Colombia. But Scotland's Pat Clinton put us back on the flyweight map after taking the tough little Mexican Isidro Perez all the way. Not with a tartan and shorts, Pat. But the most intriguing question has yet to be answered. Can Britain finally claim the heavyweight title for the first time this century? And if so, which of our big men will do it?
Well, let's see if we can throw some light on that now. Please welcome the heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe. Well, you've just got in. Had a chance to have a look around London yet?
Yeah, London is great. Had the opportunity to stand next to Big Ben. Made me feel good.
Yeah? You're nearly as big as Big Ben. About the Holyfield fight, it was a classic fight. Was it tougher than you expected or just as hard?
Much tougher. Evander Holyfield has the heart of a lion, and no matter what I did, he was determined.
Yeah. What's it like being champ? What's the best thing about it?
Getting to meet you.
Get out of here. No, he's right. When did you first set your heart on being champ? You were a little boy in a tough area?
Yes, I grew up in Brooklyn. I guess I was about 12, and I saw a tape on Muhammad Ali, and he said he was the greatest, so I thought I would become the latest.
And of course, a certain man called Mike Tyson went to the same school, didn't he?
Yes, Mike also gave me inspiration, and he was a tough fellow in the neighborhood.
Now, everybody wants to know about your plans over the next few months. How do you see it? What are you going to do? Who are you going to fight?
Well, actually, I really don't know. My manager's in negotiations. We tried to get Lennox on several occasions. But
Lennox Lewis?
Lennox Lewis, but unfortunately he reneged. He didn't want to, I guess, fight.
Although there are people, I'm going to step back when I say this, there are people here there are people here who would suggest, I'm not among them of course, but there are people here who would suggest that you might be ducking Lennox Lewis?
Well, let me say this. I've never ducked a good fight in my life. Actually, it's personal between me and Lennox, and I would love to fight him.
Mm-hmm. But is he out of the question as far as you're concerned for the foreseeable future?
I think now, maybe perhaps for a year, but again, I called my manager one Saturday morning after the Holyfield fight, and I said, look, I want Lennox, and you know, so he tried to get Lennox, actually on 6 occasions, but he wouldn't take the deal. See, Lennox knows that by a certain time, if I don't fight him by a certain time, the WBC will strip me. So actually, he's taking the easy way out, and he wants him to give him a title. But I think people all over the world know that I'm the heavyweight champion of the world. So in order to be recognized as champion, you must beat me.
Okay. Let's hear what Lennox says about it, shall we?
Sure.
He's not exactly with us. He's over there in sunny Jamaica because he's on holiday.
Hey, Lennox, can I ask you a question? Isn't the suit nice I have on? Huh? And see, with a suit on like this, most people would wear a cummerbund, but the heavyweight champion of the world wears this.
Lennox, I don't know if you saw that, but he's got the WBA championship belt on here, of course. Now, how do you see this situation? You see, Riddick here is implying that you're ducking the fight.
Well, I'd like to thank Riddick, for one thing, for holding up the belts for me, because, you know, he's definitely he has them on hold for me.
Well,
as far as ducking him, I don't think I duck anybody either. He hasn't asked me on 6 occasions. Riddick Bowe's a good actor, but he's definitely running from me.
2-6,
I've beat
what's the
him
difference?
already. I've already beat him, and I'll beat him again. If it's so personal, let's put the fight on and box for no money and send all the money to Africa.
Well, let's have it your way. I'm willing. Just sign the documents, my friend.
But what is the position with you? You were offered, as far as I understand it from Riddick and his manager, Lennox, you were offered a tilt at the title first time. He was going to make his first defense at you, but you turned it down for some reason.
Well, he offered me some a slap in the face money, and I considered the fact that it was only $3 million, and I'm warranted more money than that. But if he wants to box me for 3 months and $3 million, and he only wants to give me $3 million to box him, I'll knock him out for $3 million. The money's not the aspect here; it's the title, and that's what I want. And he has them on hold.
If you
just hang on to them until I get them, Riddick.
You didn't say that at first, so why now to change your mind? You're just a wannabe. I'm gonna keep this title for as long as I want, my friend.
Yeah, run. You can keep ducking me.
I don't think so.
But
I knocked you out already, and I knock you out again.
Lennox, you never knocked me. I've never been off my feet. The referee stopped the fight. You had a lot of luck.
Okay, chaps, now Okay, you're going pretty well, both of you. I think it's an even contest here just at the moment. But the extraordinary thing is you guys used to be in the same amateur team, didn't you, for North America? Is that right?
Yes, at that point, I played with Lennox and what have you, and we got along pretty well. But again, as Ollie once said, us dinosaurs can't be friends.
So, Lennox, you, come this time next month, will be named as the WBC champion, I presume. They'll take it from Riddick if you don't meet. What sort of satisfaction will that give you? Because, to be fair, I mean, this man's got the real title, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, it won't get, you know, basically it's taken away my glory, the fact of knocking him out in the ring. But, you know, I'm willing to wait. If he's willing to, you know, duck and dive, I'll wait for him, because the crowd will demand it. After he turns around and realizes that he has no other place to go, he'll remember that Lennox Lewis beat him.
Wishful thinking. Lennox could never knock me out on one of my bad days.
Okay. Lennox, you stay there, because there's a third man involved in this, or would like to be involved in it, I presume, and that's our old friend Frank Bruno, who's in this show every year. He's been doing it longer than me. Frank, come on up. First of all, have you met Riddick before?
Yeah,
you know?
Coming in, he's a very nice chap, nice wife. Got a nice trained manager, really.
Manager's quite fun, nice quiet guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Now, how do you see the championship situation? You told me on this program last year that you were back in business because you want that heavyweight champion. You've had 2 goes at it. You want the third. You want to do it this
Most
time.
Definitely.
Right? How do you see it?
I'll wait until Riddick sorts himself out as regards he's going to fight Lennox. And I think that he's going to be stripped of the WBC title. Yeah. Give it to Lennox Lewis and he defends it against me, and then me and Riddick Bowe get it on sometime in the summer.
That's right. And the title will be mine again.
No, I don't think so. But I'm not going to get involved in no slagging match because I respect him as a champion.
I respect you too, Bruno.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
You all respect each other, but that sounds like a pretty busy year for you, Frank. First you beat Lennox over there, then you beat Riddick.
Most definitely, that's my plans for 93.
There's nothing wrong with wishful thinking.
That's my plan.
There's nothing wrong with wishful thinking.
Okay.
He can probably beat Lennox, but not me.
I respect Lennox Lewis there, and I respect Riddick Bowe, but that's my plans for 93, you know what I mean? Take the WBC championship off Lennox Lewis here first, and, you know what I mean, get the titles together with Riddick Bowe.
Well, you know, I've been known to spoil a couple of plans of my time.
Thanks very much, Frank.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lennox. Have you got anything, final remark on that? Lennox?
Basically, let's get it together. The whole world wants to see the fight, and I want to get it together. I'd just like to say hi to all the English people.
Thank you. Three very big men, ladies and gentlemen, in every
Happy
way.
Christmas, Riddick Bowe.
Thank you. Just one little thing, Riddick. We used to have a famous man on this program, another famous heavyweight, perhaps the most famous, and that was the great Muhammad Ali. Now, I know that he was a great star for you, and as I understand it, you could remind us of Ali just a little bit, couldn't you?
One of the greatest fighters of all time. Bruno, if you keep talking, I'm going to jump on you.
You can't jump on me because I'm not that way inclined, mate. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much indeed.
Sure.
Thanks, Frank.
Yep, nice
Thanks,
one.
Lennox.
Happy
Riddick.
Christmas.
Same
Thank
to you.
you. Nice one.
Thank you. In racing, the first Sunday meetings were judged a success, but there remained deep concern about the financial problems of the sport. In National Hunt, Martin Pipe and Peter Scudamore were champions again, but they didn't have things entirely their own way.
It was another mega season for Martin Pipe with 224 winners and Peter Scudamore with 175. But they missed out on the big ones. Jockey Carl Llewellyn grabbed the ride on Party Politics in the Martel Grand National. About the last fence, it was over by the shouting.
Racing towards the line of the turn, Party Politics from Romany King. Lawrence Bowers moved into third and racing up to the line. And Party Politics is going to win the 1992 Grand National. Second is Romany King. Third is Lawrence Bowe.
Joy for Carl Llewellyn, heartbreak for his injured regular rider Andy Adams. That's how it feels to miss a national winner. At Cheltenham, the champion hurdle yielded a remarkable win for Royal Gate, a novice racing over hurdles for only the fourth time. Unlike in the Ascot Gold Cup 4 years earlier, this time he survived a steward's inquiry. Carville's Hill was a hot favourite to give Pipe and Scudamore their first Gold Cup, but his fate was sealed at the first fence. He never really recovered from this. His eventual departure, pulled up, set up a magnificent three-horse finish.
It's the fellow who's got a length and a half advantage from Cool Ground. The fellow lands in the lead, but Docklands Express comes to challenge him. As they race up towards the line, it's head on head. The fellow in the centre, Cool Ground on the near side, Docklands Express. It's going to be a photo and at the line. Cool Ground has got up just to inch the fellow out of it.
A remarkable triumph for 20-year-old Adrian Maguire, whose joy was only abated by a 4-day suspension for whip misuse. But the horse of the year was Remittance Man, the champion 2-mile chaser. Like so many superstars, he always has someone hanging on. And Desert Orchid, just 18 days after his critical intestine operation, he's fine. Michael Roberts was the story of the flat, the first ever South African champion with 206 winners from over 1,000 rides. The top-rated horse of the year was Arlen Saint-Gevite, whose extraordinary 12-length defeat of Derby winner Dr. Devious in the Irish Derby knocked seconds off the course record.
Saint-Gevite is increasing the margin. Dr. Devious is in trouble. Contested beats making a little ground, but Saint-Gevite's going to storm away with the Irish Derby. Saint-Gevite was second at Epsom, is putting 6, 7, 8, 10 lengths between him and Dr. Devious in contested bid, and at the line, Saint-Gevite has won it. Dr. Devious is second.
But in September, the doctor got his revenge in the Irish Champion Stakes.
The Derby winners locked together. Saint-Gevite on the stand side. Dr. Devious the far side is going to be close. Saint-Gevite by a neck from Dr. Devious. Flat out there, clear. Alford in third. It's going to be close. Saint-Gevite, Dr. Devious the inside as they race up towards the line. It's desperately close between them.
The judge said Dr. Devious won by a short head. The filly, user-friendly, won 3 classics and remained unbeaten until the hour. And Lester Piggott, at 57, the style, nerve and tactical genius are packaged with a smile. And then came Florida, and a rib-breaking fall which for a moment looked like the end of the line. But within days, he was planning the year ahead and reliving the magic moments of '92, mostly on Rodrigo de Triano, his 30th Classic winner in England, on the way to a spectacular triumph in Ireland.
And it's Rodrigo de Triano who quickens to the lead on the far side from Mazoud. Brief truce, Lucky Lindy. Inside the final furlong, Rodrigo de Triano, 2 in front. Mazoud is coming after him, but racing up the line. Rodrigo de Triano, it's Leicester's 16th Irish Classic.
In just over 2 years of comeback, this remarkable man has rewritten his own unbeatable records. Florida confirmed what we already knew, that he's indestructible.
Now, this year, sadly, we've lost 2 of our best-loved commentators. Raymond Brooks-Ward, short time after the Olympics, and, of course, the tennis world is grieving this very week following the death of another legendary broadcaster and friend to so many people here, Dan Maskell. Dan retired from tennis commentary with the BBC this year. He'd covered 41 Wimbledon championships in a row. He was a fine player and coach before that, and a wonderful man who never had an unkind word for anyone and whose broadcasting style was quite unique.
That's it, and the dream has come true. And she still owes me 6pence for a cornet I bought her when she was 16 and a half at Torquay. And I've always felt commentating that one should really try not to intrude. In fact, I remember saying to Jack Kramer when he started with me, Jack, let the story be told by the pictures, and we'll only add to it where necessary.
Maskell, who will be missed very much indeed, and especially by our former Wimbledon champions, Anne Jones and Virginia Wade. You were very close to him, Anne.
Yes, very much so, Des. I miss him enormously. I miss his wisdom and advice. He was a true gentleman.
And he coached you or played with you when you were?
Yes, he coached me, and he was captain of the team when I won the Italian championships, and captain of the coach of the Whiteman Cup team several times too, yes.
He was a marvellous man.
He was one of the most caring, really, and unselfish people that I knew, and, you know, it was really an honour working with him after his being an institution for so long. So, I mean, it's really hard to believe he's gone.
It is. Thank you very much indeed. Well, the Grand Slam in tennis, that's winning the 4 major titles, had not been achieved in the men's game since Rod Laver did the trick way back in the 60s. In the women's game, it had been done more recently, Steffi Graf in 1988. Early this year, 2 players were very much in contention, world number 1s, Jim Courier and Monica Seles, but that was before Wimbledon.
After 20 years there, Jimmy Connors bowed out. It's not worth the pain anymore, he said. Jeremy Bates came good, but the white knight of Wimbledon was Agassi. The glamour girl of tennis, Monica Seles, held the key to the women's Grand Slam. After beating Steffi Graf in a brilliant French Open final, she was halfway there. Now it was on to Wimbledon. There, few had high hopes for Jeremy Bates getting through the first round, but here he was at match point against number 7 seed Michael Chang.
Second match Bates. 6-4, 6-3, 6-4.
Goran Ivanisevic had done well at Wimbledon before. This time he was really firing on all cylinders.
The aces continue to flow like champagne at a wedding.
He pounded former champion Stefan Edberg into submission, and Jim Courier's Grand Slam hopes were destroyed by unseeded Russian Olhovsky. Bates was having all the luck.
Smile.
2 more victories against higher-ranked players, and now he faced Guy Forget. The centre court was drained of emotion, the tension of it all. Bates served on match point, but eventually was beaten. But the biggest attraction of all at Wimbledon was that man. Yes, him. Now it was the White Knight against Richard III. Yes, Agassi in the final, to the delight of his fans. Pete Sampras, once he turned the racket round, had coasted to the semi-finals, but Ivanisevic blasted him out too. Martina, 9 times champion, faced Seles, whose Grand Slam hopes were high, in the ladies' last 4. Seles outgrunted and outplayed her. Her Majesty was not amused. The final, a repeat of the French, was rain-interrupted 3 times. Seles lost her voice, the match, and her Grand Slam hopes. For Graf, it was sweet revenge and her 4th title. In the men's final, the Ivanisevic aces dried up. Agassi needed all his quick-fire brilliance, though. But Wimbledon had a new swashbuckling champion, unlike any that had gone before. But you can't keep a bad man down. McEnroe had the last word. With Michael Stich, he won the longest ever men's doubles final, his 5th Wimbledon doubles crown. In September, Edberg, against all the odds, retained his US Open championship. And Jim Courier finished the year on a high note, helping the USA to Davis Cup victory over Switzerland.
Well done, Jeremy. Great year. Thank you. Now, this year, the BBC Overseas Personality Award goes to a tennis star, the man who set hearts aflutter and Wimbledon alight, the Wimbledon champion, Andre Agassi. From Munich, John Barrett.
The quality of service return and power driving by the young man on my right here was probably the finest that Wimbledon had ever seen. The manner of his victories over, among others, John McEnroe, Boris Becker, and in that pulsating final, Goran Ivanisevic, simply had to be seen to be believed. And that's why, Andre, all of us at BBC Television believe that yours was the performance by any overseas sports personality. And that's why I'm here in Munich to present you with this trophy, which in fact reads, if I may read that for you, BBC TV Sport Overseas Personality of the Year, 1992, Andre Agassi. Congratulations.
Wow. Well, thank you. What an honor that is. It sure is a shock to me.
Well, I'm glad it's a shock. And what about the memories of that day?
Wimbledon has become such a special place to me now. The memories of winning there is ones that will never be matched again, no matter what I do the rest of my career. And I just want to say thank you for this, and wish you all a very special Christmas.
In cricket, Pakistan were the summer visitors as well as England's winter opponents in the World Cup final in Australia. Durham arrived on the county championship scene, a new challenge for Ian Botham, who was still adding to his vast experience at test match level.
Well, here he is, the man of the moment, 100 tests for England, Ian Botham.
By the time the Pantomime King arrived in New Zealand, England had already won the Test and One-Day Series. Botham, though, was invaluable on the road to the World Cup final. 87,000 packed the impressive Melbourne cricket ground, and England made Pakistan struggle early on.
It's in the air, there's a top edge, and a possible catch, but dropped.
Captain dropped captain, a vital miss. Imran made England pay as his side eventually reached 249.
Gooch, but it's way over his head and well back into the members.
Wasim Akram then dashed England's hopes, removing Alan Lamb and Chris Lewis with successive balls. Pakistan world champions for the first time, and for Imran, the perfect end to a magnificent international career. A month later, and Pakistan arrived in this country, led now by Javed Miandel. England took one-day revenge. Then the Lord's Test set the series alight. Second test, 4th day, Sunday. What a day.
Oh, it's bowled him. It's bowled him round his legs.
What about that? When you're on a hot streak, it never seems to stop.
4 wickets for Wasim Akram. Pakistan needed only 138 to win, but England weren't finished.
Oh, well caught. We've seen some startling catches in this match.
Oh, out! And what a body blow that is for Pakistan.
Got him. 95 for 8. What a performance from England.
Wasim and Waqar Younis had shared 13 wickets at Lord's. Now they shared a match-winning 9th wicket partnership.
It's through. They've won. And well played, Pakistan.
17 wickets fell on a dramatic day. Pakistan 1-0 up. For Old Trafford, England recalled a famous face. David Gower had one immediate target.
And that's it. David Gower passes Geoffrey Boycott's run aggregate in an England Test career.
Record holders old and new were the centre of attention. And at Headingley, Graham Gooch produced heroics for the 2nd year running. His 135 and 8 wickets for debutant Neil Malander helped England level the series. But at the Oval, Pakistan's deadly duo hit back.
Malcolm used to be the batsman.
Wasim 6 wickets in the first innings, Waqar 5 in the second to settle it.
And a beautiful piece of bowling there.
43 wickets for the pair in 5 tests and a joint award as men of the series as Pakistan completed a 10-wicket triumph.
And there it is, the winning run for Pakistan. They have won this final test match at the Oval, and they have done it easily and with brilliant cricket.
But the summer ended in controversy. Ball tampering accusations dominated the headlines. Alan Lamb went public with his own allegations and received a £4,000 fine.
Sorry, can't speak.
Happier times for Lamb, though, as Northants clinched the NatWest Trophy. Graham Gooch's Essex retained their county title, while in the Benston Hedges Cup, Malcolm Marshall finally tasted one-day success at Lord's with Hampshire. Mike Gatting's South African Rebels had their bans lifted, and 35-year-old Gatting will tour politically troubled India. But, remarkably for some, another 35-year-old, David Gower, was left out and told he was too old.
Now, on the 25th of July this year, all eyes turned to Barcelona, Spain, and the Summer Games of the 25th Olympiad. They turned out to be an extraordinary success story, probably the best games of all time. The lady whose performance at the opening ceremony of the Barcelona Olympics embodied the cultural and artistic feel to the Summer Games arrived in the stadium that night on horseback. Well, the horse is not with us tonight, but please welcome from Seville, the fabulous Cristina Hoyos. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Well, spectacle and drama was the theme of Barcelona's opening ceremony, and it was wholly appropriate for what followed. The Montjuic Stadium playing host to the kind of athletics, the kind of excitement that only the Olympic Games can provide.
The 1992 Olympic 100 metres final.
Yes. This time they go a bit unsteady. Christie got a good one, also going well as Dennis Mitchell. And it's Dennis Mitchell and Fredericks, and Christie comes storming through. It's Linford Christie. The time, 9.96, and the British captain is the Olympic champion. The greatest prize in sport. He was the man from the gun, and his power over the last 50, 60 metres was truly breathtaking. Linford Christie, the Olympic champion.
Merlin Ottey had been favourite for the women's title, but in a blanket finish was only fifth. There was a surprise winner.
Away first time, and Cuthbert got away well, so did Ottey. And Privalova and the near side in the all green going well at the moment. And Davis-Roberts going well on the inside. And it's very tight. And Davis-Roberts, I think, got it in lane two, and that's a big, big surprise.
Davis-Roberts, who'd recovered from serious illness, was now much fancied for the sprint hurdles and a double not completed since 1948. But for her, disaster followed triumph. Patulidou of Greece would take that country's first athletics gold for 80 years.
And Bull Marker, world champion, is going to take gold. Van Langen, what a run by the young Dutch girl. And it's Torrance now, America is powering our way through.
There was gold too for Germany's Heike Drexler in the long jump, this time beating heptathlon winner Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Head-to-head in the men's long jump, Mike Powell and Carl Lewis, a repeat of last year's classic World Championship.
It's 8 meters 67. Mike Powell follow that. It's a good jump, and the white flag goes straight up. Has Powell done it again? 8 meters 64. It was long, but it wasn't long enough. And there, the two greatest long jumpers the world has ever seen.
The 7th Olympic gold for Lewis, and he would add to that. Wind assistance cost Mike Connolly the triple jump world record to accompany his gold. But at 400 hurdles, Kevin Young proved a fitting heir to the great Ed Moses.
And the world record has gone. 46.79 for the American champion, Kevin Young.
Bronze medalist Chris Akabusi acknowledged the measure of Young's achievement. And in his last major games, Chris took bronze again in the relay. The butts were too far ahead to be kicked this time, an American world record that had stood for 24 years. Carl Lewis's 8th Olympic gold medal came with another world record, the sprint relay. Sally Gunnell anchored the British squad for a bronze at 4x400. But Steve Backley's bronze was less than he'd hoped for. Better luck in Atlanta.
When your day is long and the night is yours alone. Sure you've had enough of this life. Hang on.
probably the worst moment of a career already dogged by injury.
There was post-race African unity after a great women's 10,000 metres. Gold to Tulu of Ethiopia, silver to Maya of South Africa. But African disharmony in the men's final. Khalid Scar's Moroccan teammate accused of interfering.
And Chelimo won't let him go. He got caught slightly, Chelimo, but what a battle at the end of 10,000 metres. Scar hasn't beaten him yet, and Chelimo comes back. Scar responds again, and this time it is decisive.
Scar was at first disqualified, but rightly reinstated for the gold. Kenyans dominated the 800 with Tanui and Kiprotich, and a clean sweep in the steeplechase, but the sprints were all American, apart from Christie.
Watts is going through. A new Olympic record. Marsh comes right away. Marsh of America going to take the gold.
For Spain on the track, there would be the victory of victories.
It's Cacho of Spain who's stolen the lead from the rest of them. Cacho is going to take the most popular gold medal of the Games. Victory for Spain and Fermin Cacho.
And now he would talk with kings. But there's no doubting Britain's queen of the track in the city of Barcelona.
The Olympic final in the 400 metres hurdles.
This time they go. Hemmings very slowly away in lane number 7. Sally Gunnell's gone very quickly into the first hurdle. The first to rise right on the outside is Lennox, the world champion. Into hurdle 2, and Sally Gunnell losing ground on Farmer Patrick down the back straight. It's Lennox leading on the outside, but Farmer Patrick's gone very quickly, and Gunnell beginning to accelerate. Approaching the halfway stage, Farmer Patrick, Lennox and Sally Gunnell, the big three at the moment. And it's Farmer Patrick with Sally Gunnell now beginning to close. Gunnell now closing all the time on Farmer Patrick. She's got her under pressure. And Lennox on the outside. 3 to go. Farmer Patrick and Sally Gunnell absolutely together. Lennox is struggling on the inside, Vickers. And it's Sally Gunnell now with 1 to go. Gunnell leads and goes for it. And she gets it right. Gunnell going for gold. And Gunnell gets the gold. A tremendous run. And the women's captain has done for the women's team exactly what the men's captain did for the men's team. And it's worth recalling at this moment that she is only the 5th British woman ever to win an Olympic track title.
What a shot for the family album.
Linford Christie went to gold, and Sally Gunnell has got the gold.
Not actually sitting on top of each other. That was a bit of clever camera work there. But Linford first. Linford, you seem to know that you'd won that final a good way out. You seem to sort of relax.
I think after about 50 metres, I knew then that I was going to win.
As early as that?
Yeah.
The race lasted, well, 9.96 seconds for you. How long does it seem in your mind?
Well, if you think about 9.96 seconds, you can't do much thinking about it. Well, we have a lot of time on the track to think about a lot of things. You can work out your strategy and you can see what's happening. And so it seems like a long time. It seems like about 20 minutes.
When it goes, you just go. But what about beforehand? For everybody watching, people just watching, it's the most tense event, the 100 metres. I mean, we get nervous for the sort of 10, 15 minutes, honestly, before the race takes place. What about you? How do you stay calm for, say, that hour before?
I'm glad they don't show the hour before. We're very, very tense, very nervous. I think it's got to be the most nerve-wracking hour of your life. You get sleepy, even though you're wide awake.
It's the nerves, makes you sort of tired, yawn a lot.
The adrenaline, and you get hungry, because you can't eat all, in the morning you can't eat anything at all.
Do you have a special sort of secret for keeping cool at that time, or just experience?
I think it's just experience. You just try and, it's same for everyone else, so you just try and adapt as much as possible.
I don't know what Frank's laughing at. He's laughing away. Not that bad, is it, Frank? No. Oh, good. What about What about Colin Jackson? Now, Colin Jackson had an unhappy games because he was expected to win the sprint hurdles, and yet I know he gave you a fair bit of help, didn't he?
Well, definitely. We did starts beforehand. We always work on speed together, and Collins, I think, must be the quickest in the world out the blocks, and it benefited me quite a lot. Yeah. It was a tragedy what happened to him, but saying that, I mean, he'll bounce back next year, and sure. I think you'll find that he'll be world champion. Well,
it was quite terrific. Just one point, I mean, it has to be said, it's in the record books. You're the oldest man to have won the 100 metres.
Didn't I look good?
You're an old boy. Can you stay around for the next Olympics?
I don't think I could do, but I don't think I want to. You know, I think I'll do most probably 2 more years, and then I'll get out. I think I've got, you know, I want to start a family and do other things in between.
Oh, really? Start a family? Well, you heard it first on Sports Review. Okay. It's brilliant. Linford Christie.
Sally Gunnell, 53.23 seconds it took you to win the gold. Do you remember every second, every stride, or is that just a blur?
Totally. I mean, it's the first half of the race, probably up to about the 8th hurdle. I didn't remember a thing. And it was literally just coming down the home straight that I knew that, you know, this is my chance, don't waste it. Just drive all the way.
You entered the race with a plan. Did the race go perfectly to that plan?
It did. It was my first race ever that everything has just gone totally right. And I'd been through it in my mind so many times beforehand. I knew what I wanted to do. And I hit every hurdle how I wanted to, and the stride pattern and everything. It just happened on the day, the right.
Life is changing a bit for you. Not only that success, which is going to change your competitive career, but you got married, what, in October to John Bigg, who's played a big part in all your success, I know. Quite a wedding as well, wasn't it, on a Florida beach, and a few big names there as well.
It was good. We had about 50 people came out, and there was probably about 10, 12 athletes, so it was really good. I didn't expect them all to come out, and had a great day. It was, it certainly sort of went very quickly. It started at 11 in the morning, and finished at 11 at night, and it felt about 4 hours, but it was good.
But you're keeping your maiden name, you're continuing to run as Sally Gunnell, are you?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I've spent so many years getting your name up there, and why change it, really?
I don't know. Big Gunnell would have a nice ring to it after the year that you've had. Sally Gunnell.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now joining us live from Houston, Texas, the international superstar of track and field, winner of 8 Olympic gold medals, Carl Lewis. Glad you can be with us, Carl.
Great, thank you.
2 gold medals at these Olympics. Would you see that as a great Olympics for you, or this time just merely a good Olympics?
Well, going into the games, I wasn't sure what would happen because of the illness I had at the trials, but after the things went the way they did, winning the long jump and then getting the world record, I'd say it was a tremendous Olympics for me.
That's a tremendous series in the long jump with you and Mike Powell.
Well, Mike has helped elevate that event back up to the top of our sport. It's tremendous because the long jump was a big event a few years ago, and then it started to diminish a little bit, and now Mike has helped elevate it back to the top, so it's tremendous for me, and it's helped motivate me to try to jump farther.
You've been in 3 Olympics, you've won 8 gold medals. What's the secret to staying at the peak of performance like you do for so long?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things. I have great teammates, a lot of people that compete against all the time. I'm fortunate to have good weather here to train in, and also a solid coaching program. And to go with all that, you have to have a little bit of luck, because if you don't have the luck, then things don't always fall in your place.
Now, Atlanta for you, will you still be around?
I'm going to take it 1 year at a time. The opportunity to compete in 2 Olympics in your own country is something that obviously very few people have a chance to do. If physically I can run at this level or better, then I will be here. But if I start to see a decline, then I'll probably not be competing at that time.
No signs of it yet. But what everybody here wants to know, of course, when are you and this man Linford going to get it together? When are you going to race over that 100 meters?
Well, I mean, obviously it takes a lot of things to do it, and I'm sure that we will race against one another next spring. That's planned, and we'll have to wait and see because there's so many variables. I mean, people think just jump on the track and run, but there are a lot of things that have to happen. But I'm sure that we will race against one another, if not in the spring, definitely in the World Championships.
Looking forward to it, Linford?
You know me?
You know me, he said. What does that mean? Yeah, I guess it means yes. Yeah, thanks very much. Carl Lewis. Some great Olympians, ladies and gentlemen.
Great, thank you.
Britain's first gold medal of the Games was helped in no small degree by British technology. Mike Burrows at Lotus designed this extraordinary bike, carbon fibre weighing just 17 pounds, and it helped take the Olympic title at 4,000 metres individual pursuit, with the power, no shortage of it, coming from Chris Boardman. Chris. Now this bike, Chris, it certainly wasn't built for comfort, was it?
No, not exactly.
How tough is it to ride?
It's no different. It's just like driving a different car, really. It's just something you get used to. And most bikes at this level are designed for the riders, so it wasn't a problem for me.
What sort of input did you have into its design?
Well, I was involved in the wind tunnel sessions because it's very much a partnership. Not everybody can ride in such an extreme position, as you said. So I had to be involved from the start, along with the Cycling Federation. And it was 5 months from start to finish, so it was a real quick thing. In fact, the bike actually arrived the day before, so it was a bit of a tight schedule.
But it's not the bike that won the gold medal, it's you. What kind of sacrifices did you have to make en route to Barcelona?
Oh, well, the same as just about everybody else here. It's one of those things. I think we decided, my wife and I, not so long ago, that we'll have a good go at this, absolutely. Stop working, concentrate on it, and give it the best shot. At the end of the day, if it didn't work out, then we say okay and go back to normal life. But sport, it's something you can do now or you can do never. And I wanted to try and do it properly. And then once I'd tried it, then I'd know.
So
it worked out well.
And life won't be normal for you now. Let's remind ourselves of your great achievement, plus a few more highlights from the Olympic fortnight.
Okay, let's go to work.
And Chris Boardman is going to take the gold medal to become the 4,000-metre Olympic champion, and he does just that.
Britain's first cycling gold for 72 years. Poolside in Barcelona, there was a high-tariff view and unbeatable sun. Shu Wei-sun, men's highboard champion. World records were broken, 2 by Evgeny Sadovyi, who also won 3 golds for the unified team. Hungary's Kristina Egezegi claimed both backstroke titles among her 3 golds. And her teammate, Tomasz Darnyi, successfully defended the 2 medley titles. The fastest man was Alex Popov, the champion at 50 and 100 metres freestyle. Matt Biondi took his 7th Olympic gold. And China claimed their first swimming golds, 4 in all. And aged 13, Kyoko Iwasaki became the sport's youngest Olympic champion. Mike Barrowman became the sport's quickest at 200 metres breaststroke, ahead of Nick Gillingham, whose bronze was the only medal for Britain in the pool. The 1,500 metres went to Australia's Kieran Perkins, with perhaps the best swim of the Games.
10,500 people are now standing up and applauding the 8th world record individually of the Olympics. We've also had 3 team world records, but none of them better than that.
In the gymnastics competition, there was so much to admire. The 6 gold medals for Vitaly Sherbo, a record for the sport in one Olympics. Also from the unified team, Tatiana Gutsu was the women's overall champion, but even she didn't achieve absolute perfection.
And we have the first 10 of these Olympic championships.
That was Li Lu of China. This is Romania's Lavinia Milosevic.
If you thought the first tumble was magic, watch this.
And you can hear from the applause that we have another 10.
The Searle brothers, the final of the Cox pair. Hope was fading at the halfway stage. Britain was on its feet by the finish.
The Abonyalis lead. The Searle brothers are coming back at them all the time, and they have such power in the finish. They are coming at them again. And the Abonyalis are tiring, and they're going to go through them. I think they could do it. They're coming, and they are there. The Searle brothers have beaten the Abonyalis, and that is a great achievement.
An outstanding gold for Johnny and Greg Searle and Cox Gary Herbert, and the winning Cox always gets wet. The American Dream Team destroyed the basketball event as a competition and were never contenders for any Spirit of the Games award, but they left with the title and reputations intact. Cuba took 7 boxing golds, but not this one. Michael Carruth became Ireland's first Olympic champion since 1956. There was Irish silver as well, Wayne McCulloch. Britain's only boxing medal was the light middleweight bronze for Robbie Reid. Ray Stevens' silver was the first of 4 British medals in judo. But 4 times world champion Karen Briggs never got the chance to add Olympic gold. 18-year-old Simon Terry left with 2 archery bronze medals, individual and team. Laurie Smith skippered his crew to bronze in the Soling class yachting. And Britain's best ever performance in canoeing, silver for Gareth Marriott. Fiona McIntosh in the last 8 was Britain's best for 36 years in fencing. Britain's men lost their hockey title, but we weren't disappointed long. Britain's women had the inspiration of Jane Sixsmith.
She's there, can she strike it in? Chooses a spot, great goal. It's a medal for Great Britain, they've done it. And how well they've deserved it.
A bronze to celebrate, but no one was enjoying the games more than the Spanish. The 4 gold medals they'd won in previous Summer Olympics were becoming eclipsed by the 13 Olympic titles they claimed here.
With this corner, it's gone right through. Luis Enrique blocked. Chance here. Quique. Yes. 29 seconds of stoppage time, and Spain are back in front. And surely that will be the gold medal.
A great Olympian had led Britain at the opening of these games, and Steve Redgrave with Matthew Pinsent would add still further to his Olympic pedigree.
Redgrave and Pinsent, Olympic champions beyond all question. In style, in manner, in behaviour. Pushing home now with clear water. They've got 3 lengths to spare. There are the British Olympic champions. Matthew Pinsent gets his first Olympic title, Stephen Redgrave his 3rd, and there is history made again.
Brilliant performance, chaps. Now, Matt, we're in a private little group here. You can tell us about this fella. You're about his, what, 34th partner now, aren't you? Something like that. What's he like to row with?
Oh, it's pretty difficult at times. He's pretty argumentative, actually.
That would account for it then, I suppose.
Yeah, he likes his own way.
Yeah. What's the plan? What's the future plan for the two of you?
The future for me is really to find somebody young enough to carry me on for another 4 years. I think Matthew's going to be too old. No, the plan is to carry on together for another 4 years. It's our aim. That's what we want to do.
That would be a 4th gold medal for you. Has that ever been done in rowing?
It's never been done in rowing before. No. I try not to think about it. It's just take one day at a time and get out there, do some training, and hope the racing goes right.
And the extraordinary thing, of course, is some of the athletes get some money out of it, but you get.
It's one of the amateur sports there is. It's one of the problems with all amateur sports now. They're becoming more and more professional with the time commitment you have to put in. And we've got to try and find a sponsor that will support us over the next 4 years. So that goal of 4 gold medals hopefully will come my way if that happens.
Let's certainly hope so. Let's talk to the Searle brothers. Greg here, Johnny with the special haircut. I suppose it's all harmony for you two, is it, rowing together?
Oh, all the time, yeah, never have an argument. Rowing with your brother. There's no trouble at all. I'm older, so I'll just say what to do.
Lay the law down. Tell us about that tremendous finish. What do you recollect of it now, months on?
I just remember looking around and we'd started to overlap with them and then realising that we really were in with a chance. I think up till then we'd been carrying on with our race plan.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly it's the way we train, really. We've been doing it sort of for years, you know. Every time we go out we finish a piece like that, going for it. And with Gary in there, sort of shouting away. He can see what's going on. We're looking backwards. And I could just sort of tell from how excited he was getting that we could actually do it.
Fantastic performance. Now, Gary, where were you?
Well, I was lying down in the front of the boat, underneath the canvas, out of shot, really.
Yes. So you're in the front. You're in front of them. How can you encourage them when you're basically in front of them?
By giving Johnny a dig in the back most of the time. But I have a computer and a microphone that I'm shouting through.
Okay. There's not a lot of steering to do, is there, in those races?
Not really, because these guys, the timing is good, but not really.
So basically, you just rant a lot, do you? I mean, is it?
I'm a professional ranter.
Yes. And then, of course, came the ceremony, didn't it?
I thought you'd mention that.
Yeah. Well, it had to be mentioned. It really, you know, you did. You were the sort of Gaza of 1992, really.
Well, so everyone sort of says. Yeah.
You don't mind looking back at it, do you?
What a pretty face, you know. I mean, lovely face.
Very good. You're one of the stars of the games. That's absolutely marvellous. Well, it's been a great year for the England rugby team, Wigan Rugby League team, as you heard, Rangers, who've won everything in Scotland, and going strong in the European Cup too, the ladies who won the Solheim and Curtis Cups in golf, and many more. But in this special Olympic year, our team award goes to our gold medal winning rowers. Well deserved. And to present the awards, gold medalists from the Spanish Olympic team, yachtswomen Teresa Sabel and Patricia Guerra. Ladies, would you bring those nice pieces of... One to those two gentlemen.
Well done.
Thank you very much indeed. Not too emotional for you, Gary? That's fine. Ladies, thank you very much indeed. Well, being the BBC, of course, we usually ask for something back. That's why we asked you to get in the togs. We've got some rowing machines here for you. Would you like to take up your places and see what you can do? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see just how fit these chaps are. They're going to compete singly against each other, not as two teams. Good Lord. Here we go. Now, Johnny Searles on 1, Greg Searle on 2, Stephen Redgrave on 3, and Matthew Pinsent on 4. And Gary, sorry, did you want to run it at all, Gary? Were you trying to attract attention?
Just making sure they're all ready.
Okay, fine. You're going to start them, and then you will describe what's going to happen as well. They're just warming up at the moment, right? Yeah. So you will start them. The race is going to be over 500 metres, right?
That's true. It's normally shorter. We do 2,000 metres in the Olympic regatta, but as we don't have really the time, so 500 metres shorter.
Right. Well, let's see what these boys can do. I mean, it would take many of us here probably about 3 minutes for this, but these guys do it in what? Sort of, what would you expect it?
About 1 minute 30 seconds is what we're looking at today, really, under these conditions.
But of course, the Searles are at a disadvantage because they don't exactly have you, do they?
Of course, you know, Okay. I'm shouting this side, though. That's why I'm standing
right
over
now.
here.
If you start them and then describe it for us.
Right. Okay, ready? Just the countdown. Oh, and a bit of...
There we go. What happened there, Gary? Well, did you mess up the button at all?
No. There was a countdown. I think Greg got a little bit excited there and just went a bit early.
Yeah. Greg, calm down. There's a good chap. And, right. Start them again, then.
Okay. All right. One more time. Okay, now they're off. That's a clean start that time. So you see from the monitor, Johnny is going out first on 1. It's quite close between the rest of them. Johnny's making a good start there. Greg on 2 is doing okay. Steve's okay. Matt's all right. Johnny's going out quite...
Has he gone too early?
Well, we'll see. I don't think so. I mean, Johnny, they're racers, so I don't think they've gone too early.
No.
We'll have to see. Matt's doing okay down there on 4.
Matt's coming through now on 4.
Matt's coming through there.
Oh, he's catching up.
They're catching now. You can see Johnny's just fading a bit, and Greg and Steve in the middle are starting to come back.
250 metres to go.
I think Johnny's shot his bolt there, really. And Matt's still leading.
He did go too early, Johnny, didn't he?
Johnny obviously went too. I'll talk to him about that later.
Yes.
But Greg's doing okay, coming back. Still, Matthew's still leading out there in 4. But the power guys in the middle, Steve and Greg, will come through, I think.
It's a tight race.
Well, as it goes on, you get a bit more tired, so the power comes into it. Let's see now, Steve and Greg have taken the lead. Johnny's just about holding on there. Hang in there, Johnny.
50 metres to go or so.
50 metres to go now. Let's see, Greg is holding on, but then Steve's just coming through. Looks like it's Steve first, Greg second.
Hey, well done. Thank you. Thank you. That was brilliant. That was serious. You now know why Steve's got 3 gold medals. But well done, all the chaps. Absolutely brilliant. And you've each won a little sum of money for your favourite charity for being such good sports tonight. Thank you very much indeed.
Teresa Sabel, sum up what the Games meant to Spain, not only the manner in which you staged it, but all that success that you achieved.
Well, I think basically the Games meant to Spain is that Spain was able to recover their pride and confidence. Their confidence because it demonstrated to the whole world that when we want to do something, we really are capable of doing so. And our pride because I think everybody now in Spain is just so proud of being Spanish, proud of the way the Olympics were held and the way they came out, and also very proud of all the Spanish athletes because everyone did so well. But I think that the fact that we did so well wasn't such a coincidence as some people think it might be, because really lots of people in Spain that were closely linked to sports thought that this was more or less the number of medals that we were going to win.
Well, you've got every right to be proud. The Barcelona Olympics, an outstanding success.
Huge crowds, sometimes lost in admiration, greeted Barcelona's second Olympic Games of the year, the Paralympics. The British team won 128 medals, 40 of them gold. There were 6 in the pool for the partially sighted Chris Holmes. 4 on the track for Tanny Gray. 3 more for the amazing Peter Hull. And in the lightweight judo, gold took just 6 seconds for Simon Jackson. And he beat a Spaniard, too. Terry Waite was invited to give release to the multitude in Greenwich Park. Ahead, the 26 miles plus of the London Marathon. Come the end, Antonio Pinto of Portugal would claim the men's title, and Catherine Doré of Germany the women's. And for the next few years, Liz McColgan will be in the field. At Gateshead, she won the World Half Marathon. In winning the World Junior title, Steve Smith leapt 2 meters 37, a height which would have won in the Olympics. The boat race this year was a race, but Cambridge didn't make the best of the Surrey Bend, and Oxford came home strongly again. Badminton had a new name on the Roll of Honour, Mary Thompson on King William. But Michael Whittaker and Monsanto had been this way before. winning the Hickstead Derby for the second year running. 1,150 miles in 13 days of pedalling made Conor Henry the first Irish winner of the milk race. At 500cc, it was Wayne Rainey's year again, but not at Donington, where the winning Wayne was Gardner, his first success in Britain. And the Lombard RAC Rally, together with the World Championship, was won by Carlos Sainz of Spain. But Michael Kalfus of Germany, driving a 600cc Trabant, had more than a share of the fume and glory. Team celebration for Durham Wasps, who won the Heineken Championship for a record 4th time. Individual celebration for Ian Schuback, who became the first overseas player to win the World Indoor Bowls title. Yes, he's Australian. And joy unconfined for the Toronto Blue Jays, who became the first team based outside the United States to win the World Series Baseball. The title comes from the original sponsors, not from any suggestion that the competition is global. Even so, it's a pity that not one of the Blue Jays was a Canadian.
Golf, and in particular women's golf, produced 2 outstanding team performances this year. There was the Curtis Cup victory, Great Britain and Ireland beating the United States for the 3rd time in the last 4 meetings. But surely the American professionals were pretty well unbeatable. At Dalmahoy, though, Mickey Walker captained the side to one of the sport's great upsets.
Laura Davis, with 3 wins, was an inspiration, but the tension was unbearable, and the superstars of the American tour were disbelieving. Victory would come by a 5-point margin. Catherine Nilsmark rolling in the winning putt. And women's golf in Europe will never be quite the same. The cool nerve of 18-year-old Caroline Hall secured the Curtis Cup victory at Hoylake, the last match, the last green. Liz Boatman collects the cup again, the Americans beaten in 86, 88 and 92. But in the men's game, the Americans fought back. The last American winner at Augusta was 1987. Since then, the US Masters have been won by Lyle, Faldo twice and Woosnam. Fred Couples was the favourite to end that run, and he duly claimed his first major title, and he was looking comfortable as world #1. His form had gone, though, by Pebble Beach and the US Open, but the Californians could celebrate another first-time major championship winner, Tom Kite. It blew a gale for this final round, and for one nail-biting hour it seemed that a splendid 70 from Scotland's Colin Montgomery could give him the title. But up in the studio, he was starting to believe it was Kite's day, a day that was long overdue. Nick Price has waited a while for his first major, and that was duly achieved in the US PGA Championship at Belrive. But what of the man who was undoubtedly the player of the year? Nick Faldo consistently hits the heights in the majors, and this year was no exception. If victory at Pebble Beach proved out of reach, the Open at Muirfield was firmly in his grasp. On the first tee, the final day, he was 4 shots clear of the field. What followed was the biggest golfing nightmare he's had to endure. As Faldo faltered, the American John Cook was finding the target. And by the 15th, Faldo's 4-shot lead was long gone. The man who started the day as 7-1 on favourite was now 2 behind. Cook was ahead, and Faldo was shaken.
I knew it was going to be tough, you know, I was making it tough. And then somehow I said to myself, well, you just better play the best 4 holes of your life right now.
And in terms of character, courage and composure, that's precisely what he did. A quite brilliant approach to the 15th. And another shot was clawed back. And a crucial hole, the par 5 17th, lay ahead.
Come the moment, cometh the man. John Cook for a birdie at 17. Oh.
For Cook, a par at a hole that both players would hope to birdie. Faldo could sense his chance.
And he's glancing up at the score, but he's wondering why there's no great cheer from the 17th.
Now it was Cook showing the strain. A wayward approach shot to the last had left him with that long putt to save his par. Faldo, playing the 17th, was taking control again.
A 5 for Cook. A 5-5 finish. This for a 2-shot lead. But that's not bad, and he will be very pleased in a minute or two when the scoreboards have changed. Now, Faldo doesn't know yet. He doesn't know he's in the lead yet.
The reception on the 18th removed all doubt, though, but it was by no means a victory march up the last. Faldo had to gather his scrambled nerves just one more time.
Started down the right side, needs to turn in a little bit, and how about that? Oh, steady now, right at the flag. What a magnificent strike. This is Faldo. Jill, a bit anxious. This to be champion. There you have it. Absolutely fantastic. And he's absolutely drained, he's absolutely shattered.
Nick Faldo, Open champion, is also out in Jamaica. No holiday, but he's preparing his challenge for the Johnny Walker World Championship later this week, and Nick joins us now. Nick, we've just been reviewing the last 4 holes of the Open at Muirfield. How would you sum up your mental state during that experience?
Well, around 11, 12, 13, I went right to the edge, what I'd call it, right to the knife edge, just seeing what failure was. You know, I mean, real failure. I think if it had gone wrong and it ended up being a disaster where I'd lost, it would have been a tough one to, you know, to live with. That would have been. I've been very lucky. I've avoided the major scars in this game. So, and I managed to turn it around. And you know, when you lie in bed at night and think about that, it. You know, it's just amazing how it all turned around.
Where did you find the resources to get you through that kind of test?
Well, I guess that's just part of your makeup. I don't think you're, you know, I've obviously been working on things, you know, slightly better mental approach this year, but it was just down to the end of the day, is how much you want the darn thing. And, you know, I was able to put all those mistakes behind me and you know, really pull myself back together, and I set myself the goal of, you know, I said, we'll just go and birdie the last 4. That sort things out, and you know, I sort of said to myself, right, we'll go and do it, and near as damn it did.
So you're mentally strong. You've won 4 other tournaments this year as well. You're back as leading money winner in Europe. You're back as world #1. Do you think you've got this game cracked now?
I wish. No, unfortunately, in this game, you always have to keep working at it. It's nice to, obviously, when you're on a good roll and you're playing well and you're feeling confident, obviously, but as we know, anybody plays this game of golf, it's if you leave it for a little while, it gives you a good kick in the teeth, as I say, and you have to start building yourself up again and work at it. But you know, that's part of the challenge of golf. That's why it's, you know, it's so much fun.
Big year next year, Nick, Ryder Cup year. We wish you well for that. We wish you well also for your challenge in the World Championship this week. We'll be with you on BBC Television a bit later. Open champion and world #1, Nick Faldo.
Now in football this year, Manchester United looked like winning the league championship at last, until of course they were pipped by Leeds. We've had the start of the Premier League in England. What difference has that made, I hear you cry, except to television viewers? Rangers once again dominated in Scotland, and there was the return of Gaza. But internationally, the spotlight was on Sweden in the summer.
The European Championship began in festive mood.
It's Denmark who are the European champions.
Head-to-head all season, Howard Wilkinson's Leeds United, Alec Ferguson's Manchester United. Ferguson's team won in the FA Cup, Mark Hughes scoring the only goal of their 3rd round meeting. They won as well in the League Cup, going on to beat Nottingham Forest 1-0 in the final. But from a winning position, they lost the chance of a first championship for 25 years. To a Leeds United side of tenacity and telling character. Driven by the ageless quality of Gordon Strachan, the determination and courage of Lee Chapman, and given at the end a certain je ne sais quoi by Eric Cantona, who by the year's end had swapped one United shirt for the other. The championship conclusion was bizarre, with an own goal by Sheffield United's Brian Gale giving Leeds the title. But let no one dispute the effort which earned it. Liverpool's Graham Souness was convalescing after a heart operation. Malcolm Crosby had only just been confirmed as manager of 2nd Division Sunderland. an unlikely prelude to a predictable cup final.
Thomas's shot! Oh, that's a fine goal! Thomas through the middle again. Michael Thomas. Rush. 2-0 Liverpool.
Swing in front of it, though.
The crack marksman of Europe was a Scotsman.
McCoist on the ton. That's great play by McCoist.
One of 39 last season, a total set to be beaten this. His winner in the cup final brought that trophy to Rangers for the first time since 1981. The first double for 14 years. Wembley staged the European Cup final, where Sampdoria and Barcelona gave a lesson in atmosphere. A blur finally ended a Catalonian obsession.
And Coman! Oh, yes! They've got what they deserve.
92 in England was a year of reconstruction, though the foundations of the new Premier League have frequently been called into question. New title, same ball game, same greed. But Blackburn's new £3 million man, Alan Shearer, gave it an explosive lift-off. The big boys haven't had it all their own way, and the buy of Juan Robbins threatens to make it a winter to remember for Norwich City. Too many foreigners confuse the issue in Europe. Leeds substitute Carl Schutt made Stuttgart pay for breaking the limit at Ellen Road by scoring the decisive goal in the playoff match in Barcelona. That set up an unofficial British Championship, Rangers against Leeds. And in it, an Englishman ensured that Scotland would succeed. Mark Hateley in spectacular style. The new gladiator in Rome is Lazio's Geordie. The 92, of course, saw the recovery of the knee. The return of its owner meant that the grin was in and the pout out of England.
And must be. Gascoigne, thank you very much.
In motor racing in Formula One, it all depended on your point of view. It was either a perfect package or an unfair advantage. After the years of McLaren success, Williams had produced a car that was a class above the opposition. But the driver will always be the most vital element in any championship effort. And 1992, at long last, was the year it all went right for Nigel Mansell.
3 times World Championship runner-up, Nigel Mansell knew it had to be this year or not at all. Forget the gallant battle and the late season charge. The Williams Renault was a car for total domination, and Mansell was in the mood.
And Mansell crosses the line.
And already the Williams is storming away.
It's a terrible Mexican Grand Prix meeting for McLaren.
Another consummately easy win for Mansell.
And it looks like being another famous victory for Red 5, Nigel Mansell.
He'd started the season with a record 5 wins out of 5. His grip on the title already seemed total, but as win number 6 beckoned at Monaco, a pit stop, Senna led. And for the first time this season, Mansell had to give chase. In what was becoming a rather one-sided year, this was stirring stuff.
Mansell weaving this way and that way, but Senna won't let him past. He's got the racing line, he's going to keep it.
Mansell second, the perfect sequence had ended, but not his progress to the title, which would be celebrated 2 rounds prematurely at the British Grand Prix. Nigel was getting a sense of the mood in the days coming up to Silverstone, the warm glow that was soon to become chronic Mansell mania. As he carved out his victory, there were over 150,000 in the circuit, and as he headed to the flag, they were heading to the track.
They love him and he loves them. And Nigel Mansell wins the 1992 British Grand Prix in terrific style.
The celebrations in anticipation of Britain's first world champion in 16 years.
I had to slow down so much because they were blocking the track and actually ran one person over, and he was a very big man. Oh, he loved it. The car, we just had to leave the car at club. There was no way through. I mean, what can you say? I've never experienced that in my whole career anywhere in the world, and I mean, they're fantastic, aren't they? It's just incredible.
He was almost there, but he wasn't going to pace himself to the title. He won in Germany, and in the next round in Hungary, there was a tyre change, a few doubts in the pit lane, but Mansell recovered to force himself into the top 3 position that he needed to at last claim the greatest prize in the sport.
He's second in the race, but he is the world champion of 1992.
The contest was now not for championships, but contracts. Former world champion Alain Prost had negotiated a 1993 place in the Williams team. Ayrton Senna said he'd drive for Williams for nothing. But Mansell's dialogue with Williams had broken down. For obvious reasons, everyone wanted a drive for Frank Williams. The team and the car were supreme, but he was looking a beleaguered man. Michael Schumacher's win in Belgium was a glimpse of an exciting future for Formula One, but Monza brought us down to earth.
Due to circumstances beyond my control, I have decided to retire in Formula One at the end of this season.
Mansell off to race Indy cars in North America, but who would drive alongside Prost next season? That debate would run and run. But what good is a contract if you don't survive to see it? One thing that Formula One has got right is safety. Riccardo Patrese survived this crash at Estoril comparatively unscathed. And in Portugal, Williams was celebrating that miracle and Mansell's record, his 9th victory of the season. The season finished, and with it seemingly Mansell's Formula One career in Australia. The collision with Ayrton Senna was a frustrating and incongruous exit, but it didn't change what had gone before. From Williams Renault and Nigel Mansell, the most dominant season that the Formula One World Championship has ever seen.
Nigel, when you look back on this triumphant season, what will be the outstanding memory? Will it be the title in Hungary or that crowd at Silverstone?
I think the crowd at Silverstone was just something never to be repeated, not for me anyway.
Wonderfully emotional occasion.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've won 5 GPs in England now, and that one just was incredible.
Now, you're here on crutches tonight. You've had the toe fixed at long last, a long overdue operation on that. How is it?
Yeah, it's good. No, Ayrton and Alan sent me an early Christmas present.
Go on.
They trod on it.
Mind you, you bounded up the steps in Paris on Friday night when you took that World Championship trophy. Here it is, you threw away the crutches almost. That really shows your eagerness to get your hands on the trophy, or your eagerness to get your hands on Frank Williams, maybe. I don't know.
Well, we had a nice chat up there, and but what I'd say, I've been driving now for, was it 33 years now, if I tell the truth. And obviously been in motor racing a long time, so I couldn't wait to get my hands on that.
It all seemed very cordial with Frank on Friday night. Now, tell us honestly, is there any kind of a prospect of a reconciliation with Williams which would allow you to drive even occasionally next season?
It depends whether you speak one day or the next day.
So you have hope?
No. No, I think the nice thing is that I've been afforded the opportunity now in America to go for another championship with obviously Carl Haas and Paul Newman. But, I mean, I think Damon sitting next to me deserves the opportunity to drive for Frank this coming year, because Damon's been part of the package to win the World Championship. And he's done a phenomenal job, and at the moment he's doing too good a job because he's quicker than Alan, and that could be a problem.
But there is talk of possibly doing races, Formula One races, back end of next season, I don't know. Is that a prospect?
Well, I was in Australia for a week or so after the race, and then I was in Fiji sort of recovering from the season, and then obviously straight into hospital. And I only arrived here sort of about a week ago, but it's all news to me, and yes, it's interesting, and some of the figures mentioned would be very accommodating. I mean, put a few noughts on the end for Frank and he'll be all right.
IndyCar, quite a challenge for you, different kind of racing. Rumours that Ayrton's going to pitch up there next year as well. That'd make you feel at home, wouldn't it?
No, I'm very pleased to say that I vetoed that when I agreed my deal for the whole of America.
You got that contract,
no,
right?
That's a joke. No, I mean... I mean, heck, we're the best of friends. I mean, why not? I mean, he kisses me at every race, hitting me up the back, and that. No, it's good. We finished the season on the best of notes. No, I think whatever happens with Ayrton, whether he goes to America or stays in Formula One, it'll be great for the sport.
Damon, there's going to be an announcement next week on the Williams drive. After Estoril and your performance in the test, you must be feeling good about it?
Well, I've done everything I can as far as testing goes, and I've left it now to Frank to make his mind up, which he can take some time over sometimes, but I'm hoping for a decision.
Good. I hope that goes well for you. Martin Brundle, you had an outstanding season with Benetton. Anything lined up for next year?
No, still working on next year. It's a very unusual closed season, Nigel, going across the pond to America, and Ayrton's still undecided, so I'm going to hang around for a little while.
Martin, Damon, you both deserve your chance, but Nigel Mansell is the world champion.
Of course, in 1992, Nigel Mansell was not alone in becoming a British world champion.
A multitude of British sportsmen and women have become world champions. To reach that level, it takes dedication beyond the norm.
Obsession. Obsession.
The Embassy World Snooker Championship at the Crucible in Sheffield. Jimmy White compiled only the second maximum break in the 65-year history of the event. His reward, £114,000. What he really wanted, though, was the title that had eluded him 3 times. It looked as though the years of frustration were over when White was leading by 6 frames at 14-8. A Stephen Hendry comeback was surely impossible. But Hendry produced an historic fight back, winning 10 frames on the trot. He became world champion for the 2nd time. Last month, the first of the psychological barriers to the world title was removed when Jimmy White won the United Kingdom Championship at the Preston Guildhall. 1 major title secured, 1 to go. So he closes on his dream. Perhaps next year the People's Champion will become the world champion.
Well, we're very close now to announcing who the voters have chosen as the BBC Sports Personality for 1992. But first, a brief reminder of the leading contenders. Now, to announce the top 3 in the BBC Sports Personality voting for this year, please welcome back the heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe. I'm going to give you this envelope. It's got the 3rd place in it. If you'd open it and read it out for us. Takes a moment or two.
Sometimes to be. Sally Gunnell.
Sally Gunnell. you present one of these trophies to Sally, please? Sally, thank you very much indeed. Just stay there. Now the second. Not too tough, the envelopes, are they?
Not really. Linford Christie.
Linford Christie. Would you present this? And the sports personality for 1992 is?
Me.
Not this year.
Nigel Mansell.
Nigel Mansell. Can you manage to hold it? Riddick, you and I will depart. Nigel, well done. Would you like to just say a few words to the assembled throng? Many congratulations.
Yeah, I'm a bit shocked, actually. I think the first thing I must do is salute everybody in this room for the outstanding achievements that they've all made, especially Linford and Sally. They've done absolutely fantastic, but I think in my sport, we can only do so much on our own, and I think it would be totally amiss of me not to thank quite a few people, so I'll do it as quickly as I can. But the first person that brought me into my sport many years ago is the great late Colin Chapman, and he gave me my first ever opportunity in Formula One, which obviously has paid off dividends tonight and this year. Goes on without saying that many people over the years of 12 years, in fact, in Formula One with changing teams, but there's no question that working for the Williams team, which is certainly the greatest team in Formula One at the moment, and I spent 6 years there and having won 27 races with them and culminating in the World Championship this year. To Frank and Ginny Williams, I sincerely say thank you, and to Patrick Head, Chief Designer, Adrian Newey, the aerodynamicist, and Sheridan Thin, Financial and Director. And all my other mechanics and everybody in the factory completely, and my engineer David Brown, who translates all what I say, and sometimes it's not so nice what I say on the radio to him, onto the car to make it as quick as possible for the race. But we have to ask a question, why are we all here this evening? And it's through all the efforts of the BBC, and I was fortunate to be in Paris the other night, and I think it was only fitting that the BBC had the award for the best television sports coverage in Formula One and other sports, and I can congratulate Jonathan Martin and the team for that. But I have another unbelievable thank you to make, and this is why I'm here this evening, and that is to everybody out there. And something else I must tell you is that 2 years ago I retired, and it was through all your efforts out there that I actually came back to Formula One after driving for Ferrari, and I couldn't have unretired without you. And then you stood by me over the last 2 years, and I've got to say this, that this World Championship is not just mine, it's all of yours out there. And I sincerely thank you all for that support. In conclusion, there's one person that has always been behind me, and the last 24 years, and is the most special lady that anyone could wish to have in their life, and that is when you've had your last rites given you, and you've obviously done a few things like breaking your back and your neck and your foot and various other things, and she's always there. And that's a very, very special wife I have, which is Lynam Mansell, who has stood by me through thick and thin, and she's just been magnificent. And I'd just like to dedicate my World Championship to my wife and all the viewers out there, and thank you all for making this wonderful evening possible for me. And I can tell you out there that this here in front of me is just as good as the World Championship. I sincerely wish you all a Merry Christmas and a great New Year, and for everybody in this room, continued success, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
The BBC television sports personality for 1992 is Nigel Mansell.